Today we are going to be installing Unitronic's upgraded intercooler for the Mk8 GTI. Now if you missed my last couple videos, we have been thoroughly enjoying the Unitronic Stage 1 Plus file that we installed just like a few weeks ago. But there's one stock component on this car that can get a little overwhelmed with the added power, and that is the stock intercooler. So today we're not only installing the Unitronic upgraded intercooler, but we're also gonna do some testing as well. We're gonna be running the car 3 to 4 runs with the stock intercooler, trying our best to heat soak this thing. And then at the end of the video, we're gonna run 3 to 4 more runs with the Unitronic intercooler and see how low our temperatures are compared to the stock runs, if they are lower, and whether or not it's a good purchase for you and your GTI. So with that being said, let's head over to the bench, we'll check it out, and we'll get on with the install. And there you have it, guys. This is the Unitronic intercooler for the Mk8 GTI, and this thing is an absolute beast. Just take a look at this thing on the workbench here. We got the beautiful Unitronic logo stamped into the side of the aluminum end tanks. This thing is absolutely huge. It'll be interesting to see what this looks like compared to the stock unit. I know the stock unit is going to be significantly thinner, and it also has kind of plastic end tanks on the outside, so it'll be interesting to compare. But this thing on the bench looks like an absolute beast of an intercooler, and I'm going to be excited to get this thing on. Now Unitronic does give you a few other things in the box. These are some little hardware components here and a little spacer that we're going to use later on in the video. So let's pull the GTI in the garage, start pulling off the stock intercooler, and install this one. So we got the front grille out of here as well. Look at that. It's still connected to all of its cabling here, which is your front sensors and whatnot, but you basically have these tabs at the top that you gotta get out of here, and then you gotta kind of fish a screwdriver down through this hole and pop out the bottom tabs here that are located and secured into the bumper assembly itself. So that was a little bit of a pain in the butt to do, but we got it, and we didn't scratch it all up. Tore one glove, but not too bad. So now we just gotta remove these connectors, and we can keep going in the disassembly process. There you go, fender liner out, baby, woo! Oh, there's so much crap that falls in. It's so dirty under here. Oh, Megan, what the heck are you? Thank you, dear, appreciate it. Fresh. Okay, I think we got pretty much everything removed underneath the car in terms of like the plastics and the connectors that we need to disconnected. The next step is going to be actually removing the clamps here, or loosening up the clamps for the intercooler hoses here. You can see there's one here and then one on the other side. These are just a 7mm, so I'm going to do that right now and get those loosened up. There was a bunch of connectors under here too, guys, that you're going to need to make sure are disconnected. There's so many of them to count. Again, see a more detailed video here that I have in the video description if you want a full install, exactly what connectors need to be disconnected. But there's a fan one sitting up there. We got a couple light connectors here, horn connections, things like that. So make sure there's nothing that can get snagged when we remove the bumper. There we go. This one looks like it's pretty easy, actually. I think that's good. as you can see, we're making some real progress here now. We got, obviously, the front bumper is off. We got the headlights out. We got the brackets out over here. I have literally everything taken out here. The only thing holding this bracket in is this little windshield wiper fluid container. I don't know if we'll have to touch that again. We'll see. But now we can start loosening up the core support bolts here, which you have 2 on either side. This will be a better angle for you. One here, I did mark them. Might not be necessary because there should be marks where those bolts were originally, but we just have to support that. So my best option for this is I have a bin under here with a couple pieces of wood. Kind of janky, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna use a bucket like BMP did. However, on jack stands, it is too tall. So as long as the core support doesn't drop too far, you probably have like a inch of movement in there, that's probably okay. But if it drops too far, you're putting a lot of stress on the lines, and we obviously don't want that. So I think this will work, we'll see. And now we can start removing those bolts. Then it's removing the crash bar bolts here. So this whole section comes out, and then finally, we can get access to the sandwich of coolers we have right here, which we have the AC condenser up front. Intercooler is sandwiched in between here, and you got the radiator back here. So yeah, guys, a lot of work to install the intercooler. However, this should very much be worth it in the summer months, especially when we're pushing the car, making more power, and wanting to keep this thing cool, run after run, without heat soaking the intercooler. So just a few more bolts, and we are on our way to taking the stock one out of here. Let's do it. Probably have to be holding on to this bad boy. There we go. Pretty dirty in here, man. I always say, you know, it's always good in the spring and the fall to rip your car apart and clean these little leaves out in here. No way you're gonna be able to get them without pulling all this stuff apart. So make sure this is part of your, you know, spring cleaning regimen for sure. Look at that, 1 layer down. Oh my God. And there we have it, guys. We have the stock intercooler out on the floor here. You can see what this looks like. This is quite a bit smaller in kind of the width here. You guys can see that. The width of this Unitronic intercooler is substantially bigger, I guess, or more pronounced than the stock cooler. You can also see the plastic end tanks on the stock one and these really nice aluminum end tanks on the Unitronics. So yeah, huge difference in both coolers here. I'll kind of maybe try to put them both side by side here so you can just kind of see the difference between the two. Yeah, it's pretty significant. So now that this is out, we can start putting this one in, and it's gonna mainly be the same kind of process of you know, reverse of what we just did. However, there's a couple little points here, and I'll make sure to give those to you as we start putting it all back together. Intercooler is in. We did have to do a little bit of modification here with these clips on the side. It seemed like we were so close in getting these clips to line up, but I ended up having to take a little Dremel to the side of the plastic clip here to get it to fit. It just might be the clips themselves or something like that, but we got it to fit. And now we have to put in these little set screws, which I just dropped on the floor, basically to secure the AC condenser. These are the little tiny set screws that are included from Unitronic, and I just recommend using a little Loctite when you put these in here, because metal on metal like this, I just don't want these backing out and having any issue with the AC condenser. So just a little tip there, but we're gonna keep going with this whole project and yeah, wrap it up. Now we gotta throw the crash bar on, reline all of our bolts up, and then we can secure the core support back to the crash bar and get some stuff plugged back in. Then we gotta do the intercooler hoses, and then we'll be looking pretty good. But as of right now, we still got a bunch of stuff sitting all over the place, and it's dark, as you can see, so we gotta get moving. Now that we've installed the Unitronic intercooler, it's time to test it up against the stock cooler to see if all this work was really worth it. To start off, I did 4 pulls with the stock intercooler back to back, and then we did the same pulls in the same location with the Unitronic intercooler. And here is the data. This is the Uniconnect Plus data logger, which I captured with the Uniconnect Plus cable. Super cool software. You can really monitor everything with this. But for this video, we're only going to keep track of a few parameters. We're going to be looking at the engine RPM, the air intake temperature at the throttle body, and the ambient air temperature. So let's dive into these stock runs and really see how well this stock intercooler does after we push it multiple times in a row. Let's get into the first run here. You can see we're starting off the runs at about 29 degrees, but as we start accelerating here, you can see the RPM going up, almost 6,000, 6,100 RPM. We rise to about 31 degrees, 31.5 degrees Celsius. But the interesting part is on the way down the RPM band, we start increasing temperature quite a bit. 39 degrees Celsius there. You can see we're starting out this run at 33 degrees now. We're starting to accelerate. There we go to 5,000, 5,600 RPM. I think I only took it up to that point. And now we are hitting 36 degrees on the top end. We start coming down 38 degrees. So we are starting to get some heat in that intercooler for sure. Moving on to the third pull here. Now we're starting at 34.5 degrees Celsius versus the 29 we started with. And now we're going to accelerate again. We hit 6,300, 6,400 RPM. But now on the backside, as we start coming down, you can see the heat really creeping in. 42 degrees Celsius now. So let's compare this though to the Unitronic intercooler and see how much better it does or what the temperature difference is there. All right, guys, this is the Unitronic intercooler graph here. These are the 4 to 5 runs, I guess, that I actually did with this setup. You can see also I added this parameter up here. This is a percentage of how much I'm pushing the pedal. So at this point, it was about it was 0. And then here we're about 50%, almost 50% throttle as we start moving into it. So let's get into this one and check it out. Here we're at 2,500 RPMs. We're at 23 degrees Celsius. An important note on this one though, since it is a different day, it was cooler outside. We have the ambient air temperature at about 14 degrees Celsius, which I think is like high 50s. I'll put that on the screen as well. But as we accelerate, we're going up to, I think, 48, maybe 5,200 RPMs. These I didn't seem to go as high on the RPMs. I was manually shifting, so that's probably what it was. But you can see we dropped down to 20 degrees, and now we're off throttle, and you can see we kind of gain a few degrees here as we come off boost and off throttle. You can see we're at 27 degrees here, but as we start getting on the throttle just a little bit here, guys, we're at 2,400 RPMs, about quarter throttle. Look at the air temperature at the throttle body. It just starts going down. You know, we're under full throttle here, 3,000 RPMs. Let's take it up to 4,700. We're back down to 21 degrees at the throttle body. As we come off, there we go. We're gonna go up a little bit, but as you can see, we're fast forward to the next one here. Again, 100% throttle, 5,700 RPMs. We're back at 21 degrees Celsius. As we come off, you can see it shoots up, but we're not shooting up to crazy high temperatures here as we do these runs. That's the coolest part. I'm gonna fast forward to the next one here. You can see we're at 100% throttle now, 3,500 RPMs, 24 degrees Celsius at the throttle body. But you can see back down to 21 degrees Celsius under full throttle. Pretty cool, guys. This is about a 10-degree difference. And as you can see, we're really not heat soaking the intercooler here. It is literally coming down to almost the same temperature run after run every single time. And the crazy part about this is I actually did these runs after I did 3 consecutive runs prior to this, and unfortunately I hit the wrong record button down here and it didn't record the data, so I had to start over. So this is pretty amazing that we were able to hold these temperatures with this intercooler. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up this video on installing the Unitronic intercooler and the testing that I was able to do and the data I was able to compare. So all in all, I think this is a killer upgrade for the money. I think this is gonna really play the part in the summer months when it's really hot outside here in Georgia and we're wanting to push the car, doing some back road stuff, things like that, maybe some autocross. So I think this was totally worth it. A lot of effort, but a huge reward. So if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna link the Unitronic website in my video description. If you guys want a more detailed install, I have BMP's install for this intercooler in the video description as well. And of course, a huge thanks to Unitronic for partnering with me on this video series. So with all that being said, you guys have a great day. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.